into it, and I was really hoping more for Doctor Strange. It just wasn't it. It was
Yeah,
disheartening.
yeah.
And that's why
Wow.
we said earlier, like talking about this new Thor one, and all the hope I want and all the hope I have, right? And the trailer doesn't look bad. I'm sure Taika Waititi's great, and I'm sure it's gonna be a funny movie. But
Yeah,
it might like his movies tend to be like overly funny, and they don't really
I agree.
go into
I
like the
agree.
seriousness of it.
I agree.
And what they're
I agree.
setting up with Gore the God Butcher, and I talked to you about this. I read this story while I was living with you in that
I
place.
was gonna, I was gonna say like you actually walked me through the three different stages Thor encountered dealing with this one character,
Yeah,
and it's so fascinating. So when I found out this was the story that was being told, I'm like, how is that gonna happen in a Marvel movie?
yeah, right.
How are we gonna tell that story?
They haven't
Yeah,
teased the villain. I've just heard the rumors of it, but I'm pretty sure it's confirmed that Christian Bale is playing Gore the God Butcher.
correct, correct. He is correct.
So that's confirmed. But as far as the trailer and everything, but what they did show, and it's hard because he went off with the Guardians, right? And that's a whole other thing. As Guardians of the Galaxy, that's a whole other comic run. But it seems like in this one, he's like leaving them from the trailer
Yeah,
and finding
yeah.
himself. And they make reference to other god pantheons that are in it, like Zeus and the Greek ones that look like they're
Yeah,
gonna visit.
yeah.
And so
I think
that make
Russell Crowe supposed to, yeah,
that would be cool.
yeah,
Love
yeah.
love
I
me some
think
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe's supposed to play Zeus, possibly. Yeah, and yeah,
Um,
we might get Achilles as well. Absolutely.
so that leads me to believe that like okay, they're probably gonna do that storyline, but I'm just like with everything going on, like we said, the identity politics that are in this movie that we didn't even think about. And then I know
Yeah,
it's gonna introduce Jane Foster, the female Thor, right? So it's
yeah,
another person to kind of like take the reins from old Thor that doesn't know who he is or what he wants, even after a 3 movie and Avengers hero arc where he literally like they spent so much time building him up and going through all this stuff and where he finds
yeah,
himself and he's like I don't
yeah.
need the
That's
hammer, I'm more than the
before.
hammer, and then I need the hammer, and then I'm not a
Yeah,
king but
yeah,
I'm a king and I can lead like I'm just after everything that's been going on, the way the phases have been going and how the movies have been, I have I'm very like hurt. I'm like an abused like spouse or something, and like this relationship is
that's
abusive, and I'm
that's so
worried.
funny. That's so funny you say that because one of my newest YouTube videos on my channel, I did just a trailer reaction to the new Resident Evil Netflix trailer. Like it
Yeah,
came out I think Friday, and yeah, there's a lot of us that are really thrown off by some of the things that we're seeing because it's like it's not our Resident Evil.
yeah,
And it was so funny because I was listening to a lot of different reactions before I filmed my own and posted. But yeah, one of the reactions basically said the same thing. Like a lot of us devoted fans to the Resident Evil franchise, we're so used to being abused. Like it's yeah, it's like yeah, but he made the exact same references here. Like we're just so accustomed to being, neglected and abused, with
yeah,
these projects that really like dismantling what it is that we love.
yeah.
We're just used to it. But
Just for the
I,
sake
I
of
will
making
say,
another project to bleed this like fan base dry, right, of their money.
yeah, yeah,
And nerds have money. They're like the whole nerd aspect like you can squeeze us like they've been doing it for years, right? And we will buy just cuz we love what we love so much. And
absolutely.
I'm learning this more from like Warhammer and there's different like like tabletop stuff like certain board games and different figures that you build and paint and everything. There's a whole market for like these nerds that got too much time, right? but
Yeah,
uh, so yeah, and it's sad even as like an Alien versus Predator fan, right? Both those franchises like they're in the dumps now. Like what do we got? Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
there people will constantly like the disheveled corpse of what was once a great thing and like look at it. Don't you love it? Like here it is, pay
um,
for it. And it's so sad to see. There's like nothing. It's so hard to bring something new that is interesting, right? It's so hard to like talk about new stories or even just make good ones from the old ideas. It's like
yeah,
unheard of.
yes,
So I
yes.
just feel beaten down, and I really wanted to. I wish it was everything I wanted it to be, but I know it's not gonna be. You know,
So Thor comes out when? Is it summer or
June,
is it late?
June. Yeah, it's coming out soon. And that's why
Oh, so
we
that's really.
talked at the beginning of this. After Spider-Man, like when we started this podcast, we were very optimistic. We were like, we got Batman, and then you're telling me Doctor
Yeah,
Strange is
I
coming soon,
remember.
and then
That's
Thor is in this
true.
summer. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
oh
that's
man.
true. That's
And
true.
now I'm just like I'm hurting. And you know what
Uh,
adds to it, James? I went back. Me and the wife, we watched Eternals recently.
Eternals?
Yeah,
I didn't know you watched that.
I don't know if you've seen that train wreck of a film,
I,
but
I'll say this. I will say this, and this will give you a better understanding of where my view. Eternals to me was the first Marvel film I ever watched that I was actually disappointed. That was the first. That was the first. I thought it was fascinating with the characters, and I kept thinking, man, I can't wait to see who they're gonna fight and who's gonna be the villain. And you find out it's just themselves.
yeah,
It's just
it's
themselves.
I don't even
It's
want
just,
to think about
and,
it.
and
Like it was so
and
bad.
and it was just, and then I'm like in my first sex scene in a Marvel movie, and I'm thinking, did I want to see that? And
Yeah,
then there's
I
the
was kind of
homosexual
tuned out
character. I'm
for
like,
that part.
did I want to see that? And it was just
I was
like, what
more
the heck?
concerned about why there was a kid hanging out with him the whole time, and
Oh yeah,
how
oh,
that kid was like trying to be in a relationship with Superman or something.
yeah. But I enjoyed what it. I don't know. I just thought it was fascinating how they've been alive for so long, and that intrigued me. Even the finding out what it is that they actually were. But yeah, as far as the film, I just I like the effects. It was interesting, fascinating. I love the personalities, but yeah, it was the first time I walked out of a film and I said, like that's probably the only Marvel film I don't actually feel like I have the desire to revisit. That's the only one.
Yeah, ever.
I will revisit. Yeah, any other. The only way I'll watch it is if I'm committed to some friends and we're watching them periodically and going through all of them. Then I would make the decision.
Nah,
Okay,
dude.
we
Even
got we
then,
got. Oh,
even
you
then,
wouldn't
that
even
that
do
don't
this.
make the cut. If Captain Marvel is like a question for making the cut, that film does not enter the discussion. Because I'll still go back and watch Captain Marvel. It's still like a decent enough film,
Yeah, it is decent. It is decent. It's
but
decent.
the,
Yeah, Eternals really. Yeah, I was I was watching the film and I was just like, okay, and I almost feel like I would love for them to just leave that alone. It was long enough, and just leave it alone. We don't have to see the characters anymore. Just leave them alone. And yeah, I don't know. I think the only character I'm really intrigued by is I don't know if it's the Black Knight character. I forgot I'm trying to remember his name. Oh
from
gosh, I'm trying to remember.
Eternals.
Yeah, he was not an Eternal, but he actually had a history of being a knight. He was dating the Asian lady, and he was in the beginning and only at the end. He was not throughout.
Okay, okay. So
He plays Jon Snow, I think, from.
I don't
Uh,
even don't even I don't even. But I know
okay.
that end credit scene, right, with that sword that had a little weird thing. So I know
Yeah.
nothing about this movie. I know nothing about that whole thing.
Oh, oh, okay.
I don't know if
All right.
Black Knight is a character, if that sword is anything, but I what it made me
Got
believe was like that sword might have been what is referenced in Gore the God Butcher and what because there is like a sword that has power that gives him his power. You know.
Wait. I thought it was the symbiote.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
No.
whoa, we got whoa, James, whoa. No, why are you making
What?
assumptions, James? Calm down. Um, no, there is. I think it's called the Necro Sword or something, but it's like it has
Yeah.
God killing ability, right? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
seeing this sword have a symbiote like trait when he goes and almost touches it or whatever, I was under the impression that this might have been a teaser for that because I don't know anything about Black Knight or whatever. So
Oh, you know what? Know what? Now that I do, because I'm not a big fan of him, but I do know that his character has a history. There's like two or three Black Knights. They're all in the same family line. But the unique attribute is the sword does require people to be killed so it can, I don't know, like replenish itself. And it does start altering and draining the user as well. Now that I'm
does it
listening
give
to what
him
you're
like
saying.
symbiote type powers though?
Not symbiote, no.
Okay,
That's more
because the
super.
sword was doing some weird thing when he went and almost touched it
Okay,
in
okay.
the
I know
Eternals
that.
clip.
Okay, because I know they're going to definitely give him some more of a, some type of future, And I even thought it was interesting how he even made reference to, um, I don't know if he mentioned, he could even lead the Avengers, or was that another character?
Oh, oh God, yeah. They said someone said something like that. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I thought, oh, okay, yeah, but yeah, Eternals was, yeah, that it's funny because the director, a lady, I forgot her name, but yeah, she just kind of thought, she was introducing a lot of things that overwhelmed people, but I think, we just have to come to the realization that, it was just a bad movie. It was just
yeah,
that's the
no, that
only movie yeah, I don't care to revisit. That's and for
Guardians
me
was
to
the
say that.
perfect example of you can do things outside of the box and be very successful.
Yes, actually, I just fell in love with those characters from the first movie, and I thought,
Yeah.
man, they did such a good job with this film. They did such a good job with this. Is the first one. Like everybody who watched that film, I just feel like we just fell in love with these characters. You know, the Guardians. But yeah, yeah, Eternals. Goodness, ooh, I don't know. Wow.
I'm disgusted that we're ending this conversation on that. But yeah, like that's why there's a myriad of reasons why I'm kind of losing hope as a superhero fanatic. With at
Yeah,
least the
yeah, yeah. No, I
MCU.
agree.
It's getting to DCU levels. It's gross. It's disgust. Leave that to them. They make the bad movies. Why are we succumbing to this just because we don't have a Thanos backdrop anymore? Like, come on. Like, that's the thing.
Uh,
There's still really great characters, and the fact that every single one of them is being like can never have a moment. They can never be good and be competent on their own. It's always like they're having help from the diverse side
yeah,
cast, just for the sake of it. Like
that's so true. That's
like
so
let
true.
them hold their own on their own movies. Like let them do their own thing. It's okay
True.
to have team ups, but have it be valuable. Have it actually. I don't know. Like when's the Hulk and Thor movie? Well, I guess that was Ragnarok, which is pretty good, but like even
Yeah,
I don't know. That was an interesting take. I liked that movie. I'm not gonna like talk bad about it, but even that sense, like again, the MCU is taking these themes that we like and things that I want to see, the Gladiator Hulk and them fighting each other, Planet Hulk storyline, but they're just doing it not the
yeah,
way I
yeah,
want.
yeah,
I think they're just rushing it. They're like, oh, there's all these good
yeah.
things,
I
throw them all
agree.
in here.
Yeah, yeah.
This is what but they have to make it work, and their storylines are like loose enough to where they can throw in all this stuff. They don't really make
Yeah,
any
yeah,
definitive
yeah.
answers, right? And
I see that.
if they
I see
take
that.
more time with this stuff, stretch it out, it can be better. And don't water it down like they did with the Hobbit movies, where they took one book and made three movies out of it, right? But you can give it more, you know,
Uh,
due diligence.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with you there. I agree. Yeah, just take a little bit of time and just do it the right way.
They just see dollar signs, man. They're like, okay, the 10-year thing is done. How do we keep these people involved? We got shows every quarterly shows, and we have I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel
There
used,
you
James. I feel used and abused.
go. Oh, that's funny. That's so funny. Yeah, it's interesting. I have noticed that at this point I feel like I'm watching a lot of the superhero films just because I
Obligated?
almost feel like to some extent, actually, to some extent.
Yeah.
I want to say part of me is yes, I do want to see the film. I do want to discover it on my own. I don't want it to, I want to have that theater experience. But yeah, the other side of me is just like that's what I do. So I have to I have to go see Thor. I have to go see Black Adam. I have to go see Flash. I have to go see whatever. I have to see. I have to. You know.
We got to break
It's
that mold, man.
yeah, 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 yeah. Something, man. Goodness
Because
gracious.
we can't expect them to treat us right. we, and here's the thing: there's so many like good stories already out there. I think I'm just gonna start like I don't know if it's the character I like, I'll probably still see it, right? A character I really care about.
Okay.
But or if I'm one I'm interested in, right? Like I just saw we watched the Moon Knight series that came out, and that was pretty interesting, unique. Some
Yeah, yeah. It was
good and
good.
bad there. Did you see it?
I did. I did. I
Okay.
kept up with it.
Yeah. I like there was some things I liked, some things that were whatever, but
Yeah.
again, that was a character I was interested in, right? And now I want to know more, and right. So, But there are good
Yeah.
stories already written. It's just it's not the format. Like movies don't have to be the end all be all format for entertainment and like the ultimate form of storytelling. There are comic
Yeah.
books that are way better than what's happening, right? So,
Agreed. Agreed.
like I said, I'm at this point I'm protective of what I love, and I don't want them to touch it. You know, like with this gore thing, I almost everything they're setting up, like I can see that it's not going to be the main focus. I can see that they have other agendas they're pushing. They're having him leave
Yeah.
Guardians. He has to get not fat again. He has to find himself again because he doesn't want to be king anymore for whatever stupid reason. And they have to shoe in Lady Thor, and she has to get all the credit now. So I can see I can see like my villain being introduced and like my hero not being able to solve the problem. like
Oh my
and I
gosh.
can see the hurt, and I'd rather them just not touch it because I know they won't do it right, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I remember because I was not familiar with the gore story until you really did a really good job with explaining the different, I guess, time periods, I guess, with Thor, when it came to, when he was younger, during his prime, and then even as a
It's
an
King
elder god.
Thor, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, King Thor, and yeah, I just thought that was such a fascinating story. How, he was still dealing with this one uh character, and even just I guess just the story of Gore himself. It was like you could kind of see why he became so I don't know, so like you
Spiteful.
know, yeah, yeah, like you can see like this is one of those stories that this is like serious. This is something that you don't just squeeze in like 2 hours, in the
Yeah.
film. This
Well,
is like one of those real.
this could be a trilogy. It could be, but it's not
It
gonna
could,
be.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
That if they wanted to do it correctly, yeah, they would do that.
and
You know.
that's I gotta stop.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
getting sad, and I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
don't want to get
And
you
then
that.
again, like the ones they already touched Blade, they already touched Ghost Rider, and for the most part, like the core of those movies are good and great, and I'll always have them, and I love it. But
Mhm.
I'll never see it again, right? And not efficiently,
Mhm.
not great. So, do we want more? Are we gluttons, or do we just like be happy with what we got? You know?
That's a good question. Because I'm almost fearful of thinking that what if we did already experience the prime of Marvel Cinematic Universe? What if
Hmm.
we yeah, Endgame, what if that was actually it? And then like we'll have our Spider-Mans sprinkled in every now and then to really give us a great story, but what if that's actually it? Yeah, because I'm just thinking like, man, I just remember the course of 10 years building up towards, oh man, they're going to see Thanos one day. Oh man, he has the gauntlet of, oh, where did he get, oh, he has this.
And
Oh,
then
Thor.
he won. And then he
Yeah, oh,
won.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I still remember the end credits, and I'm like, finding out like, we have to wait exactly 1 year for the next. And I'm like, what? You can do this? You can
yeah,
do this?
yeah, yeah. Like,
No,
hearing the kids
that's not
cry
mine.
in the theater
You
is
can't
great.
I'm crying. Yes, I'm like, you can do this?
Yeah.
That's not this. That's not legal. Right? But yeah, yeah, it was just so well done. But yeah, I'm just wondering what if that's it actually?
I don't
You
think
know,
they'll ever get to that point again where it'll be that good and that built up, that well thought out.
I'm starting to come to that
But
conclusion.
there's still really good stories that could be told. You know, we've gotten very little from Black Panther. You know, we've
Yeah,
gotten very little from other characters and just not justice from others, right? I
yeah.
still am waiting for like I don't know. I have to see the rest of the Daredevil show, right? I've only seen the 2 seasons. I don't know where it goes, but
I will just say, I will just tell you, Daredevil out of all of those shows is the best show.
really, and it stays the best. It stays good.
Oh, oh, definitely,
Good,
definitely.
good. Okay,
Definitely. Yeah.
okay.
If there's any show you want to stick with, it's Daredevil. That's the one show that's not going to disappoint you. That's the only one that's not going to disappoint. The other ones kind of
And that's fine if he
go back
stays
and
on the screen. Like, if they do it well, that's all I want, man. Like,
yeah,
just represent
yeah.
the characters
Daredevil, yeah.
well. Give me something cool to watch that shows, like, yeah, he's a bad at, like, they do these things. These are their principles. This is why they fight. These are their struggles. Like,
Yeah,
why are you
yeah,
bringing
yeah,
in all this other nonsense? Why are you making them seem weak in their own films? Like they're
yeah,
not competent
yeah,
in their own films. Like, ugh.
yeah,
Same
yeah,
thing's happening with like Star
yeah.
Wars too, and it's I'm ugh.
Yeah, did you hear anything about the talk of Star Wars, the trilogy being remade? Oh, okay.
What? You're not
Okay.
talking about the
I know
Ridge Tridge, are you?
it's not, to my understanding, the talk is not to add on to what we already had, but to sort of almost in a sense, um, the last three films took place, but there's like a disregard and like I don't know, there's a focus not necessarily on the Luke Skywalker line necessarily, but like
You
to
mean what
still
Star
tell a
Wars is
story.
about? There's a focus on not what Star Wars is about, is what you're telling me.
It's odd, but I know there's a discussion of a lot of devout fans like ourselves. We were not satisfied with the last trilogy, so I know Disney is actually, rethinking actually giving us another trilogy that would replace. Yeah, so I don't. It's something that's circulating online. I would encourage anyone listening to this to look into that. But I thought it was like just a silly rumor, but it seems like it keeps coming up. So I'm open to it because I did like Kylo Ren and some aspects of but for the most part, I just felt unfulfilled. And I feel like as of right now, the only thing I'm really looking forward to is the Kenobi show. That's the only thing I have any kind of
I'm just
hope for.
I'm just like zoning out. Like it's so
Okay.
sad. It's so
Yeah,
awful.
yeah,
Um
yeah, yeah.
like there's stories to be told in that universe too, right?
Oh,
But
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So many,
and it's
so
I
many.
just get so pessimistic about it because it's all everything I love is run by Disney and I hate it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm hoping personally that uh, Disney slash Marvel, they are learning that certain things just doesn't work for a lot of the audiences, and to just get back to what it is that people want to see. You know, sometimes it's okay to just have the guy saving the girl, and that's it. Sometimes just keep it simple. Sometimes it's okay.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to have a hammer, and she doesn't have to be just like Thor or whatever. Sometimes you don't have to have that. And I don't know. It's just there's this I don't know this shift and this change and yeah. So I don't know. I'm hoping that they're looking at the numbers like, oh, when we go this route, this actually doesn't work. When we go more
Well,
this. But
we'll see. We'll see. I'm
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
this has
definitely.
just made me depressed and I'm like kind of we can is there any positive thing we can wrap up on? I was sad about
Uh,
Doctor Strange. I'm gonna be sad about Thor. I'm calling it.
oh, uh, what is there another Marvel film after Thor this year? I know
I feel
there's
like there's one
DC
more.
stuff.
There's what?
I know there's DC stuff. I'm trying to remember. Uh, I know Black Adam, I think, is at the end of this year, and I think
I
Flash
think the
and
actual
Zam
actually
is
Black
early
Panther
next.
2 is coming out this year.
That's right. That's right.
Is that this year?
That's that's our next after Thor. That's right. I'm actually very curious to see what direction they're going to go with that because
Yeah. Yeah, I am too.
that's gonna be yeah you have to be really good at what you do
I
to
need
make
to
that
just
work without Chadwick
readjust.
Boseman.
This
You know what?
I need to just readjust. This conversation has put me in a bad mood. Like I was so because this year seems so good. Like we got Spider-Man, we got the Doctor Strange, then we got Thor, then we got Black. Like after
Yeah,
last years of just nonsense, now we
yeah,
got like a
yeah.
year of like good stuff, and I okay, maybe Thor can turn it around. It's Taika Waititi. I'm sure it'll be a good movie at least, right?
It's definitely gonna be funny for sure.
It's got some good subject matter. They could do it
Okay,
right. They
okay.
could do it good.
Possibly,
Potential.
possibly. Yeah,
And
yeah,
then,
yeah. It's true. It's true.
I kind of have no idea where they're going for Black Panther, so
Yeah, same here. Same here. I'm looking up online. It says Thor: Love and Thunder is going to be 2 hours and 13 minutes. I mean, so if they utilize the time they have, maybe optimism.
I think yeah, once I think more about Thor and like yeah, I'm still excited. I'm still want to see it. It's just
Absolutely,
after
absolutely.
yeah, just sad talking about all the stuff and I know it's not the best intent out there. You know, they're not trying to just
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
good stories or just whatever. Following
Oh
the
my
formula. All right, so